What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres, publisher and lead editor of Ducks Digest, covering the Oregon Ducks for Sports Illustrated. Over on Fan Nation, we got another recruiting interview for you guys today. I'm joined by a big-time playmaker that is 2023 modern-day linebacker Leviticus Su'a. How we doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good. Everybody's great. Yes, sir.
Glad to hear it, man. Well, definitely want to talk about that Oregon trip since you were out here in Eugene lately. But just wanted to get some other questions out of the way first. Give people a better sense of kind of who you are and where you're coming from as a player. What's your height and weight looking like these days?
Right now I'm at 6'2", 230.
All right, you got the linebacker size. You're coming out of modern day. Is Santa Ana your hometown? Where are you from originally?
No, it's not. I actually live in Paris.
And where, sorry?
Paris. It's in the Inland Empire.
Okay, Inland Empire, gotcha. And for you, Leviticus, tell us a little bit about when you picked up football. When did you start playing, and kind of walk us through that journey and when you saw you could really do something with it?
I first started playing football. Well, I would watch my older brother play at his games, at his youth games, and I would just watch him, and I really want to play. And I first started playing when I was 5. At that time, I was a lineman a lot of the time, probably until I hit 10. Then I started playing more like fullback, tight end, and got into linebacker a little bit at 12, 14. And then once we hit high school, I was all in at inside linebacker, and just been that from there.
All right, so we got you inside linebacker now. And at modern day, we know that that's one of the most storied programs in all of high school football. What's your experience been like there under Coach Rawlinson?
Man, it's been great getting to play underneath probably the best coach in high school history. Just getting to learn from him, and even he'll tell us his old stories and stuff from past teams, and just a chance to get all that experience from him and get to know him better. It's really helpful. It's great.
So let's kind of go inside, a game week. What's the preparation like for you? How do you like to get right for a game? Because you guys got plenty of them on that national schedule.
Big thing I try to push is film prep. So Monday with our team, the defense will have our film meeting. Before that, we'll hand out the scouting reports. It'll have all the other teams, all their positions on offense, height, weight, and a little breakdown of what they're good at, their skill sets. And then we'll have their favorite plays and all their favorite formations and how we'll attack it and what changes we'll make too. And then just throughout the week, we'll have film every day, and then we'll have a practice period where we'll go through their run plays, we'll go through their pass plays, 7-on-7, and then just a full-on team and like what they like to run, first down, second down, third down, and just a lot of game situation type stuff. And then on Thursdays, we'll walk through with the whole team, and then after that, the defense will go in the meeting room together. And big thing we like to do for a tradition, we'll go around, each player will say one thing that they'll have to do for us to get the victory. It could be anything, like stat-wise, or like you want to hit hard, be physical, play as fast as you can. Just anything like that we think will change the game and get us that win. And Friday, game day.
All right. Yeah, everyone's always looking forward to Fridays, those Friday night lights. Modern day is like one of those multiple programs around the country that is just run like a college level program. You talked about how detailed the preparation is. Now that you've had some time to be in the program, what was that transition kind of like when you were going from, middle school Pop Warner type of deal to, hey, we're running with the big guys now at modern day?
It wasn't that much of a difference. It was just kind of different people. But the biggest difference between youth football and high school football for me was probably just the speed of the game. And kind of just like the plays, they got a little bit more advanced, but nothing too serious. Biggest thing was just the speed, and I just needed to really catch up to that.
All right. And we know how good the Trinity League is. I haven't been able to make it out to a game just yet, but do you have like a favorite opponent, or one team that you play that maybe there's a little bit extra on the line going into that for you?
Probably a Servite game. just because it's such a big rivalry, especially for Coach Rollo. And there's a lot of history behind that one, so we always really try to get the win on that one when we play Servite.
Yeah, Servite's got dudes for sure. I remember I covered T-Mac when he was there. So he's probably one of the people that fans know the most about. Noah Fafita, another guy as well that I got to see out at practice. And just one more just about you as a competitor, Leviticus. What is it about playing football, about the preparation, about shining on the big stage? What do you like the most about competing?
For me, the most is, especially at the linebacker spot, just being able to lead and be that leader that people look up to, and making sure everyone's doing their right job and we're running on all cylinders. And if somebody messes up, we could talk about it and see how you could improve on it and just get better from there.
Yeah, got to be the kind of the face of the defense. Make sure that everyone's in their right spot, like you mentioned, and taking on that leadership role. Want to get into a little bit of recruiting now, because that's been kind of a focus for you with some recent trips. It looks like. Where are you kind of at when it comes to the recruiting process? Are you still kind of feeling things out, or are you enjoying all the attention? Is it kind of stressful? Where do you kind of fit with that?
Really, right now, I'm filling out all the schools. That's why I've been taking these visits recently. Just really trying to narrow it down and maybe sometime soon get my official visits all set up and get them locked in.
Okay, so we know that you made it out to Oregon recently, but just in the interest of getting people up to speed, where else have you been taking some of those trips of late?
Recently, I took a visit to Stanford, and then this past weekend, we went to Oregon, Washington, and Oregon State.
Okay, yeah, you can kind of hit all of those while you're in the Pacific Northwest a little bit. I know that Pullman's with Wazoo, that's a little bit out of the way. I know that your former teammate David Bailey is at Stanford. I got to talk to him last season, so there's a guy that people need to watch out for without a doubt. Um, but let's talk about this Oregon trip, man. Just kind of walk me through it a little bit. What have you been to Eugene before? What was it like just being here, and what'd you do on that trip?
I have been there before, probably 2 or 3 times, but this will be my first time I went with that new coaching staff with Coach Lanning and Coach Jake and Coach Lupoy, Tuioti, and just we already knew how all the facilities were and stuff, and we're just really happy and glad to meet the new team and see all the new coaches and get to know more about them and just their whole get down.
What stood out to you when you got to meet some of these new members of the coaching staff? Dan Lanning's obviously the face of the program now, being named the new head coach, but he's brought in some heavy hitters, and Tosh Lupoi is one of them that you mentioned.
Something that really stood out to me is how involved Coach Lanning is with the defense. So we were in the defensive meeting, and Coach Lanning was sitting there front row talking to the boys. And like usually, you'll think head coaches they work more with the offense and calling the plays and stuff, but he was only with the defense, and especially at practice too. Their inside linebackers were working a drill. Coach Lanning came over and stepped in to be like a scout lineman and was working with the linebackers, getting them into it. That really stood out to me.
Okay, so it sounds like you'll probably play inside at the next level from what you've told me. What was Oregon's kind of their vision for you? How are they pitching? Hey, Leviticus, we want to have you here, and this is how we think you'll be involved.
I think they'll have me still playing inside linebacker, kind of like moving around a lot and being able to play fast and come downhill and even maybe in coverage a little bit.
Okay. So we're getting a little bit of insight into kind of what your role would look like. Um, now that you've been home for a little bit and seen a couple other schools in the meantime, um, you've gotten to marinate on this visit. What do you think stood out the most to you, or stands out the most to you, rather, about Oregon and what the Ducks have going on as a program?
Really just all the experience they have with Coach Lanning coming in, Coach Jake, the inside linebacker coach, Coach Lupoy as the new DC, Coach Tuioti, just all those minds together on defense. I feel like that's such a great place to be at, especially as a defensive player too.
Yeah, so as a defensive player, you see some of the appeal there. What's kind of interesting about this transition right now under this new staff, we've seen the highly touted recruits coming in on both sides of the ball, but particularly on defense of late. It kind of feels like Oregon's taking on a little bit of an identity change now that they have a defensive coach. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I feel like being a defensive player too, that defense is defense wins championships, like everyone says, and that was a big thing Coach Lanning was pushing with us. How he was telling us, and Coach Jake as well, how when people look at Oregon before, they were such a offensive powerhouse, and they move the ball, score a lot of points, and I feel like they're moving in that direction to make it the same way on defense.
I'm stoked to see what the defense looks like. We got the spring game coming up here in Eugene on Saturday, so that'll kind of be our first big sample size of what the offense and the defenses look like. Moving forward with you, Leviticus, you talked about trying to get those officials set up. Are you kind of getting a good feel for any schools that might be in a good position there, and what's next for you?
I'm really just being open right now, and I'll probably take a couple more visits and take it all in and try to plan out when I would take these officials and where they would be at.
Okay, so but before the official visits come, what other schools are you maybe hoping to see here as we work through the spring?
Uh, I'd like to make it up to Arizona, Cal, Berkeley, and also Colorado and UCLA.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot of Pac-12 interest there. Um, what would you say kind of stands out to you about those schools? Why are you interested in those schools? We got Jed Fish rebuilding, um,
Mhm.
and then Chip Kelly just signed a new deal with UCLA, so it feels like UCLA is a lot more established of late, but I think that there's a lot of excitement around that Wildcats program.
The big thing, I've just really been in contact with some of the people at those schools, and they show love to me. So I want to show that same love back and show that same interest back.
Okay, so we'll be hitting the road again to check out some of these schools. As you go through these visits and kind of get a feel for what these schools have to offer, what are you looking for at your next stop?
Uh, the biggest thing for me is probably finding a position coach that I really vibe well with, and I could really see myself playing under, and like the philosophies they have for their defense, and because you can see lately with all the college coaching changes that coaches can leave at any time, and I just want to be able to know like I know that coach and I know him really well, and a big part is stability, knowing if they'll stay there, knowing how the players like them, and how much longer they'll stay. I feel that's a really big thing, and just being able to go to a school and know that your coach is going to be there. Yeah.
All right, so we got a good feel for what's important to you as you go through this recruiting process. Last one, and I'll get you out of here. We mentioned earlier how Mater Dei plays that national schedule, so you guys are loading up on big opponents throughout the season. What's your mindset kind of going into this senior season, whether it be personal goals or areas you want to improve on?
Right there, just trying to improve from last season. Even though we won and we're named national champions, I feel like there's always room for improvement. And a lot of people saw that we lost a big senior class, and I feel like this would be a really good time for a lot of younger players to step up. And even for my class, 2023, the juniors about to be seniors, a good chance for us to step up and be leaders and take those younger players under our wing and show them how it needs to get done.
We'll have to have an eye on the Mater Dei team as they make their way through the 2022 schedule for sure. Before I get you out of here, man, where can people find more of you? Want to give you a chance to plug those social media accounts.
Oh, my Instagram is Leviticus.Su'a, and my Twitter is _Leviticus Su'a_.
All right, there you guys go. That's how you can tap in with Leviticus Su'a, 2023 Oregon linebacker target. Looks like I might have lost you for a sec. You got me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you guys got to make sure to go tap in with Leviticus and follow his recruiting journey. If you want to find more of me, you can find me on Twitter at mtorressports. You can find me on YouTube at Oregon Football Max Torres. If you guys are watching, kindly ask that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's tremendous help. And then you can find the Ducks Dish podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Man, I can't talk today. But maybe that's a sign that we got to wind down here, which is what we were already doing. So big thank you to Leviticus for coming on and giving us some of his time. And thank you to everyone tuning in, however you tuned in. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.